Hello and welcome to another video. Excuse the wet hair and the messy hotel room. I was literally just about to run out the door for my week of fiber adventures and I realized I forgot to film an intro to this video. We are here in Carlsbad, California, which is just outside of San Diego. And of course, I'm here to meet up with Suzanne of WabiSabi Weaving. You guys might remember her from all of my past videos that I've done in the San Diego area where I've come to visit her studio and hang out and have TMFF, too much fiber fun, as she calls it. This week I'm back for more fun and I'm actually leading a couple workshops that I'm so excited about. We're gonna do some warp painting, we're gonna visit a farm that has fresh leaf indigo, we're gonna do some vat dyeing, and we're gonna do some garment sewing. So it should be a really amazing week, and yeah, let's get it started. Our first day of adventures took place at a beautiful local living history museum, which was the perfect outdoor venue for a warp painting workshop, which was led by Suzanne. Today was all about transforming plain white cotton warps into something really colorful and super exciting to weave with. So we laid out our warps, mixed up our dyes, and then we started painting. I just love how everyone's project turned out completely differently because each person wanted to explore a totally different concept. And that's always so fun because we can learn so much from each other's experiments. Some weavers wanted to paint specific shapes, some used stencils, and others wanted more abstract watercolory effects. This was the warp that I made at home and brought into paint, which I then spread out across the tables. Then, using a sponge brush and some thickened dyes, I just had fun painting on some random, blobby, abstract shapes. I just wanted things to be really organic and colorful and to bleed and blend into one another and to not be too precise or too specific just because I really like that look for my painted warps. And here's how it turned out. I'm really hoping it looks cool when it's on the loom. And of course, when I eventually weave this into a fabric, I'm gonna for sure make a video all about the process and share it with you here on my channel. And that concluded day one of our adventures. Good morning, it's day 2 of our Southern California adventure, and today's an especially special day that I'm really looking forward to. This morning, it's bright and early. We're heading over to a farm called Ranchito Milky Way, which I think is the cutest name ever. This is a farm where the farmer has decided to plant some indigo that we get to play with today in like a fresh leaf indigo dyeing workshop. So as you can imagine, I am beyond excited. I even wore some indigo dyed clothes for the occasion. You might recognize this shirt from one of my first times coming to San Diego to hang out with Suzanne at her studio. It felt like the right thing to wear. And yeah, today should be a really fun and really exciting day. So let's head over to Ranchito Milky Way. Ranchito Milky Way is a farm in Bonita, California that's all about growing organic, local food with regenerative farming practices. And they were so kind to welcome our group to the farm so we can not only experience their beautiful property, but also help them use up the rest of their indigo crop. Before we got into all the dyeing fun, the farmer surprised us with a delicious breakfast made entirely from farm-grown goodies. And then we got to it. Fresh leaf indigo shows up most vividly on silk, so Suzanne provided us with some silk scarves for the workshop. And we spent the first part of the day tying, folding, rubber banding, and clipping our fabrics to create some interesting resists, which will hopefully give our fabrics some fun designs. I thought it might be fun to play around with some shibori techniques, which involves folding and clamping the fabric. But I didn't have any actual clamps, so I improvised. I found some smooth-ish sticks from around our workspace, and then I tied them together using some rubber bands. Was this gonna actually work at all for this dyeing process? I had no clue. I just wanted to give it a try. Once all of our fabrics were tied up and ready to go, it was time to harvest the Japanese indigo. After stripping all of the indigo pigment-rich leaves from the plant stems, we threw them into bowls and buckets and we mashed the leaves with our hands to bring out all of those beautiful soft turquoise colors. And the more I mashed and the more leaves I added, the darker the color became. There are so many ways to get dye from this plant's leaves, and just like with the warp painting, everyone tried something slightly different. While our scarves sat in the sun to dry, we played around with another method of dyeing with fresh indigo leaves, which is the blender method. This just involves blending up the leaves with some water, straining out the leaf particles, and then pouring the green juice over some skeins of silk yarn that Suzanne had brought for us.
Yum! I'm telling ya.
Then it was time to open up our folded pieces. Like I said, I had no clue whether or not my stick tying technique would actually work, but I was really pleasantly surprised to see that the sticks actually did leave a resist mark. Those really soft white diagonal lines are from the sticks, and the darker diagonal lines are from the folds. And I'm actually pretty happy with this experiment. And that concluded our second day of explorations in color and joy in sunny San Diego. Hello, we are back at the beautiful Historic Heritage Museum for another wonderful day of dyeing. Today's focus is indigo vats. So yesterday we were doing fresh leaf indigo with the leaves straight off the plants that were giving us that beautiful light blue dye. Today is all about using indigo that's been previously fermented. Suzanne made these beautiful vats for us, and we're gonna get some deep, dark, rich blues, which I'm so excited about. I made a warp back at home, which I brought today to dye. I brought some skeins. We all have a whole bunch of stuff to make blue, and it should be a beautiful day. So let's get to it. To add some interest to our all-white warps, similar to what we did with our fresh leaf indigo dyed pieces, we created resist to preserve some of the natural white color. When I created this warp, I included some really big stripes of textured yarns that I alternated with some stripes of some really smooth yarns, just to make things interesting. Then, using some gardening tape, I very tightly tied up some portions of just those smooth warp stripes. This would hopefully create a really fun graphic effect on just some of the sections of my warp. Was there an easier way to achieve this effect? Absolutely. This was quite a lot to wrangle up and tie up like I did here, but I just had this idea on the spot and I really wanted to see it through. Before dyeing the yarns, I first soaked them in some water. And then I started adding some blue color. First, I isolated just that tied up section of smooth yarns and I dipped it into one of the indigo vats. Suzanne had prepared a few different vats for us of different strengths, and this one was a really deep, really rich blue. Look how dark these yarns turned out after just one dip. Then for the other half of the warp, I dipped it into one of the much lighter colored vats, just because I thought it would be fun to have some contrasting stripes. When I first removed the yarn from this vat, it came out really green and murky colored, but then as the indigo was exposed to oxygen, it slowly turned more and more blue. And that's the magic of this really amazing natural dye. Here's how my warp turned out after a few more dips in each vat. I really like the contrast between the light and the dark blue sections because it really shows off indigo's beautiful range of blue potential. Here's a little jump forward in time when I brought this warp from San Diego back to my New Jersey home. And you can see when I removed the resist ties that the white stripe left behind is super bold and graphic, which is such a fun effect. Just like the last warp, I'm definitely gonna make a whole video when I have the chance to weave this up. Anyway, back to our San Diego adventure. Suzanne also had this really cool idea to use a cotton bag to hold her yarns while she dyed them. I also brought with me a few skeins of yarn, and these were the exact same types of yarn that I used to make my warp. So that way I can dye them blue and have some really fun coordinating wefts. For this first one, which is a really simple, smooth yarn, I wanted to get as dark of a shade of blue as possible. So I dipped it many times in the deepest, darkest vat. For this one, which is the same type of smooth cotton yarn, I tied it in a few knots to get some random resist, which should make kind of a fun, organic, spotted look. And for this last yarn, which is a super cute curly boucle, I really wanted a variegated yarn. So I dipped the skein a few times, but not all the way into the vat every single time, and that created some really subtle color shifts. And here are how my 3 yarns turned out. Unfortunately, yarn wasn't the only thing that was dyed blue today. And we all went home with armfuls of indigo colored goodies, which of course was a sign of a perfect day. Good morning, it is Thursday, which means it's my last day of our San Diego, Southern California fiber weaving dyeing fun adventure, and we're actually ending this with a big sewing class. I'm actually not going to be sewing anything today. I'm going to be leading this workshop alongside Suzanne, and today we're going to be making a garment that you might recognize if you've been around my channel for a little while. It's this super cozy, boxy, cardigan, jackety type thing that I absolutely love to make. I've made one on this channel before. I have a video all about it if you'd like to check it out. I also made one earlier on this year when I was at the retreat in Temecula with Suzanne. That's my black glittery one, which I absolutely adore. I've been working really hard on creating a sewing pattern for this jacket just because I love the jacket so much, and today's gonna be our day of like officially beta testing this pattern with a class. We're hopefully gonna get a lot of really good feedback, and there are hopefully gonna be a lot of beautiful jackets made today, so I'm really excited about that. And I also have some really exciting news. Suzanne and I are actually gonna be at Convergence next year. That's the big Handweavers Guild of America conference. It's taking place in New Orleans in August in 2026, and we're actually gonna be offering this jacket class as a workshop available for anyone to take. I'm really looking forward to that. So today is definitely gonna be like prep and practice for that. And yes, I wanna fill the world with beautiful hand-woven jackets. So let's get started with today's events. We first started the workshop by introducing the project, and then we oohed and awed over all the gorgeous hand-woven fabrics that everyone brought to the workshop, which is always such a fun part of this process. Every fabric is so unique, just like each weaver. And then we got to work. Everyone had a copy of my paper pattern, and I helped everyone make as much process as they possibly could towards the finished jacket. Normally, finishing the project would take 2 full days of work, but everyone who came to this one-day workshop was totally okay with getting as far as they could in the process, and then taking their project home to finish it. Most of the workshop attendees were not only my friends, but also really experienced sewists, especially with their handwovens. And this was amazing because I could get a lot of really honest feedback about the pattern, and they can help me make it as clear and as thorough as it could possibly be. And we just had so much fun overall. There's something just so magical about taking a handwoven fabric, something that a weaver puts so much work and so much love into, and then transforming it into something that they can proudly wear. By the end of the day, we had a group of absolutely gorgeous, almost finished jackets, and they looked stunning. Then we celebrated our successful day of sewing with a round of margaritas. Good morning. It is currently 5 in the morning. I'm sitting in front of my hotel and I'm waiting for my Uber. This week was so fun. It really feels like it flew by, like so fast. But we did so many things. I got to hang out with so many wonderful people and I just like could not imagine a better week. I'm really lucky that Suzanne includes me in her WabiSabi Weaving community and I get to be a part of these like really fun adventures. It really means the world to me that I get to like come here and hang out and learn so much. I'm excited to bring home these warps and to make some beautiful things with them. I'm excited to take all the skills that I learned in our class yesterday and apply that to our convergence class. So yeah, overall, perfect week. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope it was a fun time. If you like seeing my fiber adventures and you want to tag along for some more of them, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and hopefully I'll see you in my next video. Bye!